Thanks all. Hi, everybody. Great to see some familiar faces here. So I'm Taylor Winchell. I work on climate change adaptation and water supply planning at Denver Water. And I'm going to talk to you about how we came about using an AI-based streamflow forecasting tool really to help us with both of those things, climate change adaptation and water supply planning. So a bit of background, we have our water collection system shown on the left there, and that watershed that is circled in gray. In 2022, we began a reservoir expansion project on that reservoir that you see there, a gross reservoir, and that's that picture. Actually, just some pretty wild engineering. They're scraping the concrete off the front of the dam so that the new concrete to expand it can stick better to the face. So yeah, pretty wild engineering. And with that, in the construction of the reservoir, we had a very constrained water elevation where we needed to keep the elevation of water behind that reservoir during this construction period. And also had really no reliable short-term streamflow forecasts in that watershed. And there are many active water diversion decisions being made every season, pretty much every day around that watershed. So back on that map as well, that red line is the continental divide, and that orangish watershed on the other side of the divide is the headwaters of the Colorado River. That's the Fraser River, and there are about 30 diversion points there that potentially bring water underneath the continental divide. And so you need a lot of really good information to make the best decisions of how much water to bring over, especially when you have these constraints on your water elevation. So that was the need behind where we were at. And you can go to the next slide. And so around that time, 2022, we were approached with a product that, a streamflow forecasting product that, most importantly, provides decision-relevant information with proven accuracy. And so you'll see on the next slide, but this is from a company called Upstream Tech. Go back to the, sorry. They actually, what really helped us a lot in really trusting this technology is that they had a few years ago swept a U.S. Bureau of Reclamation streamflow forecasting contest. And it just showed how robust and proven their technology was. And then also their forecasting technology combines both foundational hydrologic science with machine learning approaches. Kind of as Paul spoke to earlier, we weren't out here looking for, we need to use AI. How do we use AI? We just needed better streamflow forecasts. And the ones, the good streamflow forecasts that we were approached with had machine learning integrated into their model. And so kind of like a gray box model where it still has a foundation of hydrologic modeling, but then is enhanced with their machine learning approaches. And their technology was also just really user-friendly, and they have a very customer-oriented team, which isn't something we always see with products that are out there. And I don't know, for some reason, I feel like user-friendly has a negative connotation to it that I don't fully understand. I remember I told my friend that I liked Macs because they're user-friendly, and he berated me for that. But personally, I like things that are user-friendly, so I'd encourage the tech industry to keep going that way. Then it was also relatively affordable. You can go to the next slide here. And so this is just a screenshot of when we deployed what our dashboard looks like for these streamflow forecasts. Again, by this company, Upstream Tech. So they're short-term forecasts. They forecast out 10 days, and it's hourly forecasts all the way out to 10 days. And so a little hard to see, but that solid black line, this is from last year. The solid black line was the observed stream flows we saw in this watershed. And then that spread that you see there is the forecast that they provide. And these are updated twice daily. And so you can see this is, again, like a look back at the season, but this forecast was particularly good. It's not perfect. They're not all right on, but you can see that this just provides an amazing tool and dashboard to look at for helping us make decisions. You can go forward. And so in 2022, we initiated a one-year forecasting pilot for this watershed specifically. We then conducted a post-season forecast review with the Upstream tech team, which was really helpful. They, did an analysis of how accurate their forecast was, and also really listened to our requests and recommendations that they could integrate into the product. And then in 2023, we extended both the contract length and the scope into another watershed as well, based on the success we had with these forecasts. You can go to the next slide. And so this is my final slide, just kind of on, it's like got a little skewed here, but just on AI and machine learning and their applications for, really water sector climate change adaptation. And really climate change by definition is changing the Earth's systems, which introduces this concept of non-stationarity, where non-stationarity really means that what used to be normal is not normal anymore. So many of the models and decision tools that we've used in the past don't apply the same anymore and can't be relied upon as much. And so where it can, AI and machine learning really are a tool to better understand these new systems that we've never seen before, and we don't have statistically based models to lean on because we're really entering into a new reality. The other note is just this, what I think a lot of people hopefully can relate to is that water utilities are risk averse and slow moving for often good reasons. I think, again, this is something we get some flack from like people like the tech industry and whatnot. But as Paul said, disruption is not necessarily a good thing for a water utility. We have the literal public safety in our hands, and we can't just go throwing things at our system. And so I think if it would be good for us as the water industry to talk more with the tech industry and people creating these tools so they can better understand our needs as well. And then at the end of the day, just really what matters for us is having good data for making good decisions. And if that happens to be based in machine learning and AI, that's great. So yeah, I do have to hop off in a couple minutes. Apologize for that. I'd be happy to take a couple questions, but if not, I'll just let the talk go on.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Taylor. That was nice and quick, and we're a little bit ahead schedule. So, So if anyone has any questions for Taylor, he's got a couple minutes. You can stick around and answer them. If you do, you could maybe come off mute and let it rip. Or if you feel better, drop it into the chat. You can do that as well. Does anyone have any questions at this point for Taylor? Oh, it looks like Antoinette has a question in the chat. Taylor, it's how does Denver Water anticipate expanding AI and machine learning into other areas of operations? And a follow-on from Marshall is cost.
That's a good question. In other areas of operations, I believe we actually have other AI applications like for detect, potential like to assist with main replacements and things of this sort. And yeah, it's an active area of conversation. Again, it won't necessarily be on how do we make sure that every new tool we're integrating is based in AI, but more of what are our needs and are there tools out there that might have AI that apply to those? So it's an ongoing conversation.
Happen into their service, it's called HydroForecast, I believe, right? It's basically forecasting as a service. All right.